You think you decide what you buy. You don't. Right now, billion-dollar companies have teams of neuroscientists, behavioral psychologists, and data engineers working on a single problem: how to get inside your brain before you do. And the terrifying part? They've already figured it out. You've just never been shown how it works. Until now. Your brain feels first and thinks later. From an evolutionary perspective, the human brain was built to feel first and think later. The emotional brain, called the limbic system, processes joy, fear, desire, and anxiety. The rational brain, the frontal cortex, handles logic and reason. These two systems are constantly in conflict, and your decisions are the result of whichever one wins. Retailers know exactly which one is easier to influence. When you consider a purchase, dopamine surges through your brain's reward system, creating a sense of pleasure and anticipation even before any money leaves your account. You haven't bought anything yet, but your brain is already celebrating. Here's the part the industry doesn't want you to understand. Dopamine doesn't surge when you receive a purchase. It surges in anticipation of the reward. The excitement is in the chase, which is exactly why you can spend an hour shopping online, feel a quiet buzz the whole time, and then open the package 3 days later and feel almost nothing. They sold you the dopamine hit. The product was just the excuse. The 3 tricks they use every time. Trick 1. The anchor. When a retailer shows you an original price next to a sale price, your brain locks onto that first number as the reference point for value. It's called anchoring. And it doesn't matter if that original price was never real. The moment you see it, it becomes your measuring stick. A jacket was never worth $400, but if you see it crossed out next to $180, your brain doesn't evaluate the jacket, it evaluates the discount. You aren't buying a jacket, you're winning a game that was designed for you to lose. Trick 2. The countdown. The phrase, limited time offer, is not a marketing gimmick. It is a neuroscientific lever. When scarcity is introduced, your brain's fear circuitry activates, creating a sense of urgency that compresses your decision window and bypasses rational thinking entirely. The dopamine patterns triggered by a countdown timer are almost identical to those found in gambling addiction studies. Your brain isn't responding to the product, it's responding to the pressure. The timer isn't telling you the sale is ending, it's telling your rational brain to be quiet. Trick 3. The pain removal. Brain scanning studies have found that paying for something activates the insula, the same region of the brain associated with physical pain. The more explicit the payment, the more discomfort you feel, and the less likely you are to complete the purchase. So what did they do? They removed the pain entirely. When you pay with a credit card, the brain region associated with pain barely activates. Only the pleasure center lights up. That's why casinos stopped using coins decades ago. Chips, cards, and tap to pay all achieve the same thing. They anesthetize the act of spending so you never feel it leaving. Cash hurts. Cards don't. And they built an entire system around that difference. The system was built for this. This is not accidental. An entire field, called decision neuroscience, exists specifically to study how the brain makes purchasing decisions in real time. Companies use brain scanning technology to test which products trigger the strongest emotional response and at which price points. The goal is not to inform you. The goal is to find the exact threshold where your rational brain stops resisting. Amazon's one-click ordering increased impulse purchases by 34%, not because people suddenly wanted more things, because removing one step of friction was enough to silence the part of the brain that would have said, "Wait, do I actually need this?" Every friction they remove is a defense of yours they've disabled. So what do you actually do with this? You cannot opt out of the system, but you can interrupt it. Impulse purchases thrive on speed. The faster you decide, the more power your emotional brain has. Slowing down is not weakness. It is the only mechanism your rational brain needs to re-engage. Before any unplanned purchase, wait 24 hours. Convert the price into hours of your own working time. Pay in cash when you can. Ask yourself one reason not to buy before you ask yourself one reason to. The order matters, because the argument that comes first always starts with an advantage. The manipulation only works in the dark. You've just turned the light on. If this changed how you see your next purchase, subscribe, because on this channel, we don't just spend money, We learn exactly who profits from how we spend it.